You see that right there? There's freaking ice just on the freaking vault box because it's Ohio and I hate it. But anyway, we out here, this is Nonstop Parkour, and I got a tutorial for you on the Kong vault and how to improve / perfect your Kong vault. So let's see some examples and let's get to it. So if this is your first time trying a Kong vault and you're still kind of scared of it and you're kind of hesitant, then just start watching right now. If you are completely comfortable with the Kong vault but you just want to work on improving it, work on perfecting it, then please skip to this time. So this tutorial is gonna have 4 parts instead of 3 parts. It's gonna have the first 3 parts, which is the technique, and then common things people do wrong and how to correct it, and overcoming the fear. But then there's gonna be a 4th part, which is really getting details on how to improve and perfect the move. But first, we're gonna start off with the technique, just learning the move by itself. So this is more of just a beginner technique, just working on the essentials that you need to do a Kong vault. So let's just get to it. Technique. First step is just a fast run up. A Kong vault requires run up because the way that you clear the object is mainly from forward momentum. So main thing for this first step, make sure that you run fast. No stutter steps, which is this stuff, and no big strides, which is this stuff. You don't want to do either of them. You want a fast, confident run up. Just woo woo woo, okay? Next thing is the takeoff. You want to do a gather step takeoff. You want to go 1 foot and then the other foot and then jump off of both feet. So it's gonna be 1, 2, and then jump off both feet. So something to keep in mind, make sure that you jump first and then place your hands. What a lot of people wanna do is place their hands and then jump, which will keep your chest down really low, and that's not good. So make sure that you jump and then place your hands. And that's what we're doing after the takeoff, placing our hands down. Well, when we place our hands down, we really wanna make sure that we push off of the box. That's all. So what pushing off the object does is make sure that it lifts your chest up so that you have enough room for your feet to go through. And that's it. That's the essentials of what you need to know to work on the Kong vault. Work on those steps, and then once you're comfortable, come back to this tutorial. Well, you do want to watch like common things people do wrong with this move and overcoming the fear of this move, but come back to this tutorial when you get comfortable with the Kong vault and you want to start improving and perfecting the move. And that's it for the beginner technique of the move, and now let's move on to the next step, which is overcoming the fear. Now most people, you're probably thinking, if you've seen a lot of my tutorials, you usually do common things people do wrong and then overcoming fear. Well, we're switching around in this one. So yeah, let's learn how to overcome the fear of the move. Okay, so as always, for almost every single move, the way we overcome fears of the move is to do progressions, doing baby steps, doing baby moves, easier moves to work up to it. So when you're first learning parkour moves, running into it can sometimes make you really frazzled out and be like, I have to think about a bunch of things really fast, so we're gonna start from standing. First progression is just standing, putting our hands on, making sure you jump, put your hands on, and then put 1 foot on top. So we're doing a crane. Keep in mind, if you come right there, so when you jump and place your hands, make sure that your foot is going in between your hands like this. Make sure it's not going to the side like a regular crane, because we want to get into the habit of having our knees in the middle. After that, we're just gonna put both feet on top. Once you're really comfortable with that, what the heck was that? Once we're really comfortable with that, you're gonna jump and then place both feet on top. So, like this. Just getting comfortable with getting your hips up high and then getting your feet on top. Focusing on kind of getting rid of the fear of not getting your feet over it. And then lastly, as I said, the way that we clear the object using a Kong is with momentum. So we're slowly gonna get more momentum. Also, keep in mind, the last progression, this one, is called a Kong up. So you're gonna keep on doing that Kong up from a little bit farther away until you're really comfortable, you're barely putting your feet down, and then just get as much momentum as you can, and then full commit to keeping your feet up. And then that's a Kong vault. And that's how you get over the fear. And that wraps up this part of the tutorial, overcoming the fear. Now on to the next part, which is improving / perfecting a Kong vault, or basically an advanced technique for Kong vault. Just really getting into the details, basically. The first tip I have for you to perfect / improve your Kong vault is just to run as fast as you can. Kong vault is a speed move, so the more speed you have, the more distance and the better your Kong will be. This will kind of just get you into the right rocking motion that you need for the Kong, as well as it'll just give you a little bit more speed with that arm swing. Now this next step is actually the tip to getting Kong gainers, but we don't even need to think about that right now. This is also the tip for getting standing Kongs really well. And this is what you do with your arms when you're actually placing them on the box. So we're gonna assume I already jumped. What we wanna do is think about pulling when our chest is behind the box. So pulling the box, and then right when our chest is right above the box, you wanna think about pushing. So it's gonna be pull, push. So if you want to practice just that, this is probably gonna be easiest on a rail. So something that you don't need that much distance for, but I'm gonna do it right here. Think about pushing and pulling and doing it standing. Also doing it on something lower will be easy to practice this technique as well. So pull, push. Lastly, to improve your Kong, I'm going to give you tips for Kong precisions and Kong to cats. So they both use the same technique because you're trying to do the same thing. For a Kong precision and a Kong to cat, you're focusing on getting your feet in front of you. And the way you do that is by making sure that your chest goes up and your hips go forward. And the way we do that is from our arms. Because if you think about it, we're technically blocking with our arms to lift our chest up. So blocking again is changing forward momentum into upward momentum. So we're running forward and that gives us our forward momentum. As we're pushing against the block, that's gonna turn that forward momentum into upward momentum. Now what we wanna do to get our feet in front of us is just focus on blocking more. So our chest doesn't travel as much and our feet get in front of us. So here's an example of bad blocking and good blocking. And yeah, that wraps up this part of the tutorial, which is the advanced technique of the move. And now we're gonna move on to the last part of the tutorial, which beginners and advanced people need to know, which is common things people do wrong and how to correct it. Anyway, let's go inside for a couple seconds because I'm so cold. So common things that people do wrong. First one is just not running fast enough. If you're not confident with something, it's very hard to just full commit, full speed into something. So run faster. No, practice the move, like work your way up to a comfortable speed. But if you want to do like extremely large double Kongs, Kong prees, Kong to clear, you need to get comfortable with running fast. Because again, this is a momentum based move. Next common thing that people do wrong and how to correct it is jumping too close to the object. Because if you jump too close to the object, that means you can't go forward at all and you have to focus going on straight up. Also, if you jump too close to the object, then you have a possibility of kneeing it. So you want to make sure that you jump a little bit farther away so that you can jump forward and up rather than just straight up. Next, and a very important thing that people usually forget to do, is use their arms. As in, once they put their hands down, they either don't push or they don't push away from the object, things like that. If you don't push away from the object, it may be harder for you to get your hips up, and then you won't be able to get your feet above the object, and it'll look something like this. Or if you're pretty flexible, you have a flexible back, you can still get your feet up and you don't push away, you might lean back and then do a cash vault, which is a different vault. It's not a bad vault, but if you're focusing on a Kong vault, you don't want to do a cash vault. Anyway, not pushing off and just kind of leaning on your hands too long looks like this. So make sure that you activate your hands and you really push off of it once you place your hands down. Push! Finally, the most common thing that people have trouble with is committing to keeping their legs in the middle, and therefore their legs go off to the side, and it's just a bad looking Kong. Jumping that way will just make you off balance as you land. You won't be able to get a lot of speed, and it's just gonna be hard to do anything. So the way to correct the legs from going off to the side is just doing the progressions. Your legs are going off to the side because you're scared that you're going to clip the box or you're not going to be able to complete the Kong successfully. So make sure that you do the progressions that we talked about earlier in this video so that the committing to the full Kong, making sure that your knees are in the middle, gets easier. Anyway, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell button. You should also ring the notification bell button because more tutorials are coming out. And yeah, I'm gonna do the hand thing, and then I'm gonna show some other Kong variations. Kong gainer! Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. PK Person out. Comment other tutorials you'd like me to make. See you guys. Wah!